So first of all, hi everybody. It's good to see you guys. It feels like it's been a really long time since our last meeting. It was just a month ago, but it feels like it's been forever. So it's good to see you guys again. Thank you everyone for spending your afternoon or early evening with us. Just quick introductions for those of you who don't know us. My name is Shannon Lindsay, and I have been working with this user group since our inception, I guess about 3 years ago. Rocio, do you want to introduce yourself?
Hi everyone, I'm Rocio Holub, and I've been working with Shannon on this group along with Z. So good to meet you.
And we have two other co-leads. One is driving, and one I think may not be on the line yet. But you all probably know Z Liu and then Gian Hollingsworth. They both help us organize this thing. So just wanted to throw that out there. It is early voting in DC, and I'm working the polls, which is so much fun. I had my first shift this morning. So if anybody is in the southwest quadrant of the city, I will see you at Nats Park any other day this week, all the way up to early voting. Of course, had to get that out there. For those of you who it's your first time joining us, or it's your first time working with Power BI, welcome. This is a really laid back, casual group. We all know each other pretty well at this point, so perhaps we're too casual. But we're just here to learn and share and have fun. There is no question that is at the wrong level. There are 26 experts on the line in all different things. So if you have a question, please drop it into the chat, unmute yourself, do whatever it is that you need to do, but we want to hear from you. We are a part of a larger user group network, and it's actually a Power Platform user group network now. And if you go to powerplatformug.com, you'll find we have a site in there. Jamie's group also has a site, so there's a Powerapps and Power Automate user group in there. There are Dynamics 365. There's all sorts of different user groups in there. But if you want to learn more, if you want to, participate in the community, you can participate in the Power BI Exchange. There's a career center in there, alerts about conferences, webinars. There's all sorts of resources in there. So please feel free. It's free also. You don't have to pay anything to join. Very quickly, the Power Platform is a term that we are throwing around a lot lately. If this is new to you, buckle up. The Power Platform is something that many of us have now been working with for a few years. It consists of, I like to do it in the order that's logical in my brain. So Power Apps to collect your data, Power BI to analyze it, Power BI or Power Automate to pull it all together, and then Power Virtual Agents, which I have not yet used, but they are intelligent chatbots that anyone can develop. You don't have to be a developer to use them. So if you have any questions about the Power Platform, again, there are tons of people on the line that have expertise in any one of these products. So please feel free to drop that in the chat. Next slide. Okay, upcoming events. I'm going to throw this over to Rocio to let us know what's coming down the line.
Yeah, thanks, Shannon. So first one is Microsoft Learn. So there are tons of resources for free learning out there. Please make sure to sign up for it. Check out what's of interest to you, and we'll post the slides afterwards. GlobalCon 3, you can see it on demand now for $179, and I believe Shannon was in it. So please check out her presentation on Power BI, especially if you're new to the product. GlobalCon 4 is coming up. I believe it's in a couple of weeks, so do sign up and register early. There's a deep dive in Power BI for JavaScript coming up. I believe that's on Thursday, this Thursday. So sign up soon if you're interested. And then just a plug-in for the Power Apps community call. I've been joining those calls a lot, and I find them very, very interesting and helpful, especially if you're learning Power Apps. So I would check those out. They happen every month, I believe. So they're really, really cool, interesting.
Thank you so much. And just so everyone knows, there is a link to this presentation in the meetup event. So if you want these links, you don't have to scramble to screenshot them or anything. They're in there. Thanks, Rocio. The other thing that we wanted to mention is just that there are loads of virtual events coming up. We have a really strong local user group network that we love, and a lot of us participate in that. Is there anyone on the line that wants to plug an upcoming event?
I think just jumping on Shannon's coattails, definitely check out these user groups that are on screen. I know our user group, the Power Automate group, are finalizing their next date, which will probably be early December. So we'll get that out. If you follow, we're on Twitter, so you can follow our tag there, and you follow me if you want, and I'll be announcing that soon, hopefully. But there's I think tomorrow there's a user group, DC user group meeting, the DC365 group. I think is meeting tomorrow. And then the other thing I would say, don't be afraid to join user groups elsewhere. Right now, thanks to COVID, the only good thing about COVID is that user groups are all online right now. So you're really only limited by the time you have during the day. So definitely check out. I like to look on meetup.com for searching, whatever your area of interest is, Power BI, Power Apps, whatever. You'll find user groups all over the world who are having meetups. So you can definitely join in, meet people that you would never get a chance to meet normally.
Thank you so much, Jamie.
And there's some open hacks with Microsoft that are starting up. So there's a full Power Platforms open hack. If you're interested, they will be coming out in the beginning of calendar year. And there's also some coming in November if there's going to be seats opened up, hopefully. And hi, Shannon, how are you?
Hi, it took me a minute to figure out who was talking. Thank you so much, Kylie.
Mm-hmm.
Kylie is another user group leader. She leads the Pittsburgh user group. Alrighty, any other events that are coming up that we haven't covered that anybody wants to plug? For those of you that haven't looked in the chat yet, please do so. Jamie's dropping lots of great links in there, as always. Thank you, Jamie. Okay, this is a time where we like to open up the floor to either job seekers or recruiters. Do we have any recruiters on the line or anyone that's looking to fill a position? We still haven't quite figured out how to do this well. It comes in waves. Sometimes I get tons of people looking for Power BI expertise, and sometimes it's very quiet. This is a quiet time. If anyone is looking for a position, you can reach out to us separately and we can see if we can put you in touch with some of the right people. I would also recommend, this sounds silly, but I wouldn't hesitate to put yourself out there on LinkedIn and Twitter, because I've seen people get jobs recently from posting that they were looking. So be bold. Okay, so this leads us into today's presentation, and actually I'm going to pass this back to Rocio, because Rocio has had the pleasure of working with Welly on some of these solutions, and that is how we were able to get him to work with us today in his busy schedule. So Rocio, do you want to do just a quick introduction?
Yeah, absolutely. So I just posted a link to a story about how my company, DAI, and the customer voice team that Willie leads, how we worked together, I want to say last year, to come up with some really cool solutions. So Willie is an amazing person who, jumped on the opportunity to work with my company. We have this project in Nigeria, and he helped us figure out, him and his team helped us figure out how to capture data from our projects in Nigeria. Fortunately, Willie wasn't able to travel to Nigeria because of the whole COVID situation, but it was such a phenomenal opportunity, really, for us to be more exposed to his team. So today we're really thankful that he agreed to show us a little bit more about customer voice, and talk to us about it and how it connects to Power BI. So Willie, thank you again so much, and I don't see you anymore, so hopefully you're still there.
I'm still here. You don't get rid of me that easily.
So again, thank you so much, really, for joining us today, and enjoy this presentation, team.
Thanks, Rocio. Thanks for inviting me, Rocio, Shannon, and team. It's a privilege to come to talk with you guys, and I like that you said that this is a friendly group, Shannon. So hopefully you stay friendly throughout the presentation. Don't throw at me. So hopefully we're virtual, so I'm safe, I think, hopefully. But yes, I'm glad to be here. And this is actually when Rocio come to talk to me, this has come at a very good opportunity because as Rocio mentioned that I'm heading the product group, product engineering group at Microsoft. My team develop Dynamics Customer Voice. First of all, how many of you are familiar with the Customer Voice or the previous name Forms Pro? If you can raise hand in Teams, is that? Oh. All right. We have about maybe third of you familiar. Don't worry, I will give a quick demo of the products. So the reason I bring it up is that the customer voice, we do have a built-in integration with a Power Platform that Shannon mentioned earlier. It has integration with Power Automate. It has integration with Power BI. And then we have a lot of customers come asking me in terms of, okay, then how do I build this report in Power BI? And we haven't got a chance so far to give guidance to our customers about how to create Power BI. So when Rocio reached out to me and said that, okay, this is a perfect event for me to come and then to share in terms of this is what our like guidance in terms of where the data is, how do you join the data, we build a model and we build the dashboard. I do share all the stuff that I talked today. I created a GitHub so that you can also download it, so that you can also try it yourself. Okay, let me start sharing my screen. Can you guys see my screen?
Yes, we can.
All right, fantastic. So again, my name is Wei-Li Lee. This is my email, weili.lee@microsoft.com. So in case if you have any follow-up questions after the presentation today, or if those of you watching the recording of this, feel free to reach out to me. So what is customer voice? So customer voice is relatively new. We released last year as Forms Pro, and then we rebranded this July as Customer Voice. So essentially, this is our Microsoft Enterprise Survey Solution product. For those of you who are using some kind of a survey tool, maybe SurveyMonkey, maybe some of you are familiar with the products like Qualtrics. So this is similar, and we see ourselves competing with Qualtrics, with another products, Medallia as well. So the intent is that for us to build a product that will provide these three value proposition. The first value proposition is to make it easy for everyone with no technical background to be able to put together an end-to-end feedback solution, to be able to collect feedback from customers, from employee about your product, about your service. So make it easy for everyone. So that is the first mission that for our product. The second value proposition is about integrating that feedback that you collected from your customer or your employee into your business application, because survey is commodity. Like there's hundreds of survey tool out there. There's most of them are also free, but we believe that this is not just about provide a tool for you, but it's about collecting feedback that is contextual, that has a meaning into your business. So as part of that, it's very important that this feedback is integrated into your business application. And fortunately for us, since we are part of Microsoft, we are part of the business application platform, we do have other products that like Common Data Services, Power Platform, Dynamics 365 that is at our disposal so that we have the luxury to build this customer feedback solution on top of our platform so the data flow directly into common data service that then can be consumed by Power BI with Power Automate, with Power Apps, with the Dynamics so that the data that you collected you can through the survey can be directly integrated into your business application. And then the third pillar is about uh, helping you to get a meaning out of the data that you collected. You collect the data is integrated into your business application, into your customer records in Dynamic, for example. But what does it mean? How can you then also take action based on the data? You have unhappy customers, then they send you like a low NPS. How do you get notified as soon as possible when the customers have an issue? Then how can we also help you to then get back to your customers? So that is these three key value proposition. Make it easy is a built-in integration with business application and invest more on the insight. And all of this is make it possible because again, like we are sitting on top of the Microsoft Business Application Platform that include Dynamics, Power BI, Power Automate, Power Apps. It's all the data flows into CDS automatically connected in the CDS. So let me actually go now to the demo. So this is customer voice. You can access through customervoice.microsoft.com for those of you who already has customer voice. If not, then you can also go to ak.ms/customer voice. It will take you to our marketing page. It has some information, including also the DAI story that Roxio mentioned earlier. Then if you are interested to try, then click get started, and then it will take you to our trial sign up experience. You can try the product for free for 30 days. It has full functionalities. Some of our competitors limit in terms of what you can do with the trial, but here then it is a full-fledged products. So you can because I already log in, so it recognized that I already have the license, so it will take me straight to the products. So when you land into the products, then you can click this get started, and then we ask you what is it that you're trying to do. We have this concept what we call solution template. So if you are planning to use this to collect periodic customer feedback, then you can use this template. This is a template that we work together with the Forrester Research. The questions that is part of this survey question, part of the template is based on the Forrester Research customer experience methodologies. And then you can, if you want to collect feedback, for example, after you deliver your product to your customers, then you can also use this order delivery. This is a solution template. So this is not just a survey template, because when you choose this template, it not only includes the survey questions, but it also include Power Automate workflow that will automatically send the survey when an order is completed in Dynamics. The similar thing with this one is a support. This is a very popular templates for our customers. This is a template that you can use as part of your customer service process, so that if you're using Dynamics 365 for customer service, then if you have your customers then call you, then you can have a case created in Dynamics, and then when the case is resolved, then the survey is automatically sent. So you choose your template, you go next, and then this is where we ask you if you have Dynamics, then you can choose the dynamic instance that you're using so that the data will be automatically connected. I'm going to show in a minute what I mean, but you don't have to. If you are not using Dynamics, then we provided a default CDS for you so that all the data flows into that CDS. It is included as part of the customer voice license, so that you have you can use those default CDS that comes as part of this product. You click create, and then we are creating a survey project behind the scene. So this will include these survey questions. It also so that this is like the starting or the like the default questions. You can do pretty much whatever that you want to do. You can delete the questions. You can change from the star rating into smiley rating, or maybe change the rating. You can add the new questions, NPS. You can do whatever that you need to do to customize the survey. You can also add things like branching logic so that you can make this conditional. If your customer is unhappy, then ask the NPS question or something like that, so that you can use this pretty robust branching logic that can choose with a different combination of if they answer this with certain response, then do like shows other questions, or you can navigate to another questions, or you can end the survey when certain things user answers certain questions, or navigate to or start another survey, or maybe take them to URL. Because of the COVID, we do have a number of our customers using customer voice for health screening as part of the return to work initiative. And we have one customers that is asking like whether they have fever or they have some symptom, and then if they is showing they have symptom, then using the branching rule, take them to the URL that will direct the employee to get some help, or how to get some help from in order to mitigate the risks of COVID. So you can do this branching logic. We also have the support for what we call variable. Variable is essentially a way for you to ingest business data as part of your survey, so that you can, for example, you can add like a product as part of this. Then you can insert those those value into the survey questions, and then you can also use that as part of the branching. We have another customers that's selling an aircraft engine, and then they send a survey to their customers periodically to ask how they're doing, but they want to ask or tailor the survey questions based on the product that the customer purchased. So they're using this branching with the combination of survey variable, saying that if this product equal like XYZ, then ask certain questions or show certain questions. So that is something that one of our customers does. So this is something that you can create a survey easily, starting from a template, and then customize it with the branching, with a variable. We also support for multi-language, so that the survey can be translated into different language, and we detect the user browser. So if the user browser is in Spanish, for example, if you translate the question in Spanish, we'll automatically show the Spanish version of your survey. But the magic is that when this integration with the Dynamics, so that when you are sending the survey, for example, then you can send as a one-off, like maybe every month or every quarter you want to send a survey. And then if you are using Dynamics, in this case, I'm connecting to. Let me see. I have the Dynamics. Yes, I do have Dynamics here. This is my Dynamics. I have a list of contacts in Dynamics. I can create views in Dynamics. One of the views that I created is this high value customers. So I can go to my survey, and then I can type in my high value customers. And then this will then automatically look up all the contact that is part of this high value customers. Let me just send this over. And then if I go back to my Dynamics, to let's say one of these customers on high value customers, then in a couple of minutes, then you should see that there is a survey invite activity appears on these contact records in Dynamics. This is all automatic, built in. there is no coding, there is no configuration. You don't need to enable anything. You just need to make sure that when you create your survey project, you point to the same environment. Then you can, as long as you have access to that environment, then you can look up the customer contact in that environment, send a survey. That survey will automatically appears on that records in Dynamics. Again, this is something that is out of the box. If you try to do this with some other product, it probably takes you weeks to get all this integration working. This is out of the box. And the one other thing in terms of the integration, I mentioned earlier about the Power Automate. I created this project for sending a survey when case is resolved in Dynamics. So let me go to this environment in Power Automate. If I go to my flow, then I have this this flow that is automatically created, is set as a disable, so that this saying that if a case is resolved in Dynamics, then get the account information, get the contact information, and then send a survey to that particular customers, and then this is tied back to the case record. So you can automate sending a survey in Dynamics. So that is a brief overview about these the customer voice. So let me actually show you one other example. This is from one of our bank customers. Also, this is a bank that send a survey when their customers open a new account, as well as when the customers apply for home loan, and then when the home loan is finished or completed, then they get a survey. One thing that I didn't mention, and this is also important as part of our Power BI demo, is that we have this concept that we call satisfaction metrics. So satisfaction metrics is essentially your KPI. So if you are collecting feedback from your customers, like this example, in the different touch point in your customer's journey, whether that is when they open a new account or at some point later when they create a home loan survey, then you can send a different survey. So this is a different survey, but those survey has a common KPI. So in this case, this bank using an NPS as the common KPI. They have overall NPS. So if you go to this account opening, there is also the same NPS questions. If you go to the satisfaction metrics, this in the overall NPS, this is mapped to this first questions in the account opening. It is also mapped to the similar question in the different survey, but they all tie to the same KPI. So in this case, they have this overall NPS KPI. They also have NPS specifically asking about these particular brands services, as well as they have a special NPS for their home loan. So this bank have these different satisfaction metrics, and the benefit for creating those satisfaction metrics is that we have built a dashboard, automatic dashboard for each of the KPI that you define, so that you can keep track on what is your overall NPS score, what is your brand's service NPS score. You can filter based on what is the result the last 7 days, or maybe the last 28 days, or you can based on certain period of times, let's say last quarters. You can do that. You can also do this filter based on the specific survey, whether this is account opening or this is a home loan opening. And of course, that you can also get the results from the survey from that specific survey itself. So that is customer voice. So the next for the rest of the demo, I'm going to show you how you can build a Power BI dashboard based on the survey that you set up in customer voice, and also connected to the data in Dynamics. But before I go to that next segment, any questions about customer voice?
Sorry, I'm being a terrible host. We do have a few questions in the chat, and folks, I would encourage you to bring yourselves off of mute if you want to ask your question.
Yep. And thanks for that, Tashan, because when I demo that, I switched to my screens, I cannot see like people raising hand.
Yes, of course.
Hi, Lee. My name is Michelle, and I'm actually new to this group. So hi, everybody. And I just have a couple of questions, but I think my first one has already been answered by Jamie. The first one was around Dynamics, and if the licensing was included if you were a Dynamics 365 customer, but I can see that it seems to be included, but you pay for it extra with the Office 365 if you're not a Dynamics customer, it seems. And secondly, just in the last screen that you shared, you could filter, the time frame, quarter, month, whatever it was. Is that data exportable to give us an output file to take into Power BI? Or is that data just something that you can do on screen, or is there a back-ended scripted file that updates that type of data that you can take it in to your Power BI data set?
Excellent questions. That actually will spend the rest of the time today to go over how you can build a Power BI dashboard based on that survey data. So we do have the advantage that if you're using, like, for example, SurveyMonkey, doesn't mean to pick on SurveyMonkey, but you create SurveyMonkey, typically what you need to do is that you need to export the data from SurveyMonkey, import it into your data warehouse, and then create the Power BI. But because of the customer voice is integrated as part of our platform, the data flow into CDS or Common Data Services, then you can just connect directly from Power BI to CDS and create the dashboard. And I'm going to show you how to do that.
Super. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Well, there's
And-
another question.
Yep.
Oh, sorry. From Noel. The question is it possible to export satisfaction metrics as PDF?
Not at the moment. That is one of the common asks in terms of how to export to PDF, to PowerPoint. So that is something that is in our backlog, but we don't support it yet.
Thank you.
Hi, Willie. I have another quick question.
Yep.
How can we integrate this with Powerapps Portal if we want to expose it to people who are logged into the portal to fill out the survey right there?
Excellent. So the when you go to this Send tab, then this will give you different options for you to distribute this, whether this is using Power Automate or this is email. One other option is through embed. So this is a script that you can choose whether you want to make it to be like a pop-up or button. This is not limited to the Power App Portal, but you can embed this in any website. You can give this script to the webmaster or web developer, and then they can integrate it as part of the web pages. And one of the powerful thing is that earlier I mentioned something about the variable. So the variable is appears as the JavaScript input as part of this embed script, so that you can then pass the context from the host page. For example, if you want to show this feedback as part of your like a product page in your website, then you can pass from the host product page the product ID, pass in when you call this feedback, so that when they answer the feedback, you know that they are on the specific product, so that will comes as part of your survey responses. And then
Thank you.
Yep. And then the other thing that we also, if you are using the Omni channel, if you're using Dynamics 365 for customer service, we also have the Omni channel integration this month, so that you can use. Let me try to be brave, and then let me see. You can enable the customer voice as part of the Omni channel, and then you can make the survey to be automatically appear at the end of the chat conversation in Omni channel. Any other questions?
Sorry, just one add-on question to this. So the customer voice itself, when you deploy it, it is a separate environment per se with its own kind of set of CDS objects?
No. So the customer voice is the software as a service. You don't need to deploy anything. If there is a set of entities that is that if you're using Dynamics, these entities, this solution, this customer voice solution is already installed as part of your core CRM installation for your Dynamics. So it already comes with a set of entities that the customer voice is using to store the data so that the data can be integrated with your customer records. If you are using CDS as part of your Power Apps, if you are using Power Apps, not using Dynamics, then you create the CDS to store the data as part of your Power Apps. Those then you can go to the App Store. This is, I think, let me see if there's a customer voice app on the app source, ak.ms/customer voice app. And then you need to install this on your CDS to create all the entities that we need to store the survey data.
Got it. All right, thank you.
Okay. Any other questions before we go to the Power BI?
I think you got them all. Thank you.
All right. Fantastic. So one other things that I would like to, so for the rest of the Power BI presentation, I am going to use this bank satisfaction that I mentioned earlier. So there are two surveys that is part of this project. It's called Bank Satisfaction Project. This has two surveys, account opening and home loan survey. And just to quickly remind everyone that we have satisfaction metrics that is mapped to the selected questions in the survey. This survey is asking about NPS. It also asking some specific aspect of the service, whether this is easy to bank with, or range of online service, and then also has some free text comment at the end. So this account opening is automatically sent when the contact is created in Dynamics. So just to kind of show you in terms of the structure, so this is a contact records in Dynamics. I do make a little bit of customization that I created this custom field that is to indicate what brands this particular customers has opened an account with, and then these brands has the name of the cities in this case, and then if you choose those brands, these brands is also linked to a brands area. So Los Angeles brands is part of the California brands area. So that's sort of the structure. You have the brands area, and then with the children of brands, and then the brands has like a bunch of customers that is one-to-many relationship with the contacts. So that is the structure. Now, so how do you then want to build the reports that maybe take some of this NPS, maybe you want to build the custom dashboard that do this NPS, maybe you want to filter or have the hierarchical reporting based on the brands area and brands. So just want to show you the finished product. So we are going to build this from the ground up, but it will end up something like this, that you have this satisfaction matrix on the top, the overall NPS, brand service, home loan, and then this is the different brands area so that you can choose California, for example. When you choose that, then this is all the filtered. This is showing the different brands for these brands areas, and then you can click on a specific brands, for example, and everything is filtered, so that this is the survey result. That if you recall that I may go back to the survey, this corresponds to this a different aspect of the survey questions here. It's like easy to bank with, the rates of fee, range of online service, and in the bottom, this is the detailed answer for the for these specific brands. So we are going to recreate this from scratch. So how do we do that? So first off, then you can, I posted, as I mentioned earlier, I created the GitHub project. This is GitHub/customer voice/Power BI. You can do that. It should be public. And it has several things. We're going to use this a little bit later in terms of this NPS score. This is essentially measures, the DAX formula for the measures. But to start, then we're going to use this PBIX file, the customer voice dashboard. So I already downloaded. When you open that file, it is just an empty PBIX. It doesn't have any data connection. It only has this canvas is already pre-designed with some control that is already placed in a specific location. And by the way, this is essentially a page with a background image. So in case if you want to use this and you want to brand it with your own company, so if you go to the GitHub, then I also uploaded this background image so that you can use this and you can modify this, maybe change to your company logo. You can also do that, and then you can replace the background image of this project with your updated one. So you open this PBIX, and the first thing that you want to do is that you want to start connecting to the backend and to get the data. So for this, then you want to use this Common Data Service connector. Choose the Common Data Service. And then it asks you for server URL. Now, what is the server URL that you need to use? Let's go back to the customer voice. Customer voice is structure. You have a project, and then underneath the project, you have a survey. So you can go to this all project. So this is a project that we are using, bank satisfaction. And you can see there is an environmental column. This is connected to the CRM environment. And then in the parentheses, you have this FP demo. So this is the CDS URL. So for this, then when you want to look at the, when you want to connect to the backend CDS, you type in HTTPS and then use those CDS environmental name, FP demo, and then append it with .crm.dynamics.coms. That's it. So FP demo and then append it with .crm.dynamics.com. Click OK. Okay, I probably mistyped. Let me go back again. Okay, so it's connected to the CDS, and then there is this entities and system. You want to look at the entities, so expand the entities folder. And then the customer voice entities is it prefixed with MSFP. And then there are several entities that is related to the customer voice. And I'll go into the schema a little bit later, but for now, you want to pick the survey response, and then you want also to do this the questions response. You also want to get the questions, the survey, and then the project, and also satisfaction metrics. So those 6 entities, the survey response, question response, questions, and then the survey project and the satisfaction metrics. So those are the entities that you need. Now, if you are not using Dynamics, that's all entities that you need to pull from your CDS, and then you can click load, and then you can go to the next one. In our case, because of the survey is connected to Dynamics, we can also pull the data from Dynamics. In this case, we want to pull contact data from Dynamics. You can choose also these contact entities. And the contact entities, the survey is connected to the contact entities through this many-to-many this join table called activity party. So you need to also to bring this activity party. And then but if you recall, the contact is also connected to brands and brands area. So let's also pull those entities. So we have about 10 or so entities that we pull. So let's load them. And by the way, the other resources I want to call out is that if you go to ak.ms customer voice DOC, this is our documentation. And then under the developer guide, there is an entity reference. And then this give you documentation about what are all those different entities and how those entities is connected from within one to another. And then as you can see that this is all the green one is customer voice, and then the blue one is dynamics or CDS. So this the survey records is connected to contact as and through activity party, because the survey is created as an activities for that contact. If you recall that the survey, it appears under activity timeline in that context. So let's go back to our Power BI. It is loading the data, almost there. Yep, we have the data. Now let's do a little bit of the data transformation. So if you go to the start with the question response, and then you go to the edit queries. So these are the entities, and we want to merge this with some other entities. So for that, then I created a new table. And then I would like to join this question response with the questions entity. So there is a MSFP question ID. And then this is connected to the question ID as well in the questions. So the way that it is structured is that the question response essentially store key value pair of your the answer from each of your survey questions. So if your survey has 10 questions, for each of those 10 questions, it will generate a separate rows in the question response with the questions ID and then also the response from that particular questions. So this is reflected as a separate rows. But the question itself, it's linked to the questions table. So this only has question ID. So if you want to know what is the actual text of the questions, you need to join it with the MSFP question so that you can get the text questions. So that you joined it with the question ID. Now that we can bring in the question text as part of this. So let's choose the question text, as well as what survey this question text is related to. And let's do another join. Oh, by the way, let's rename this a new table, customer voice questions response. And by the way, if any of this step is not clear, please feel free to interrupt me. Now that we are in the separate table, instead of doing merge as new, I just stay with the current table and just joined it with another entity. So now that we have the survey, let's bring in the survey entities. And then joined it with the survey ID. Let's do inner join. Okay, and then let's expand the name of the survey, as well as let's also bring the what project this survey is related to. So we have this survey name now, and then we have this project ID. Let's merge one more time with the project so that we can get the project name. Project ID. Let's join again. What I'm doing right now is that I get the that question response. I joined it with the questions, and then also with the survey and then get to the project name. My intent is that get to the project name so that I can filter, so that I can also filter only the response from the project that we want to build the dashboard for. So once we get this project name, then after this, I can filter based on the bank satisfaction project. Now I filter the data, and I think right after this, you understand why I need to filter. So let's choose the columns. So for this particular one, what I need is the survey response ID. I need the response as well as so the question text. And then the maybe the survey name, and that's it. Essentially, I'm doing the select query to reduce the columns that that is on this table. So as I mentioned earlier, that this question response table is a key value pair, so that you see that this is the questions, this is the answer, how likely you recommend to friends or colleague, this is a 10, and then easy to bandwidth, this is 4. This makes it a little bit hard to do reporting. So what we are going to do is that we're going to change the representation of this by using pivot. So go to the transform step, and then this is on the question text. You need to highlight the question text, go to pivot. The value is on this response, so that's okay. And then choose under advanced option the do not aggregate.
And this is one of my favorite pastimes, is to watch the little yellow dots go across the top of the screen. I spend a lot of my time doing that.
Yes, yes. Now, so you can see that now you have this, each of the survey response, it will tell you what survey it is coming from, and then the questions appear as a separate column with the answer is in the cell itself. So this make it easier to do the reporting, especially if you want to build those table at in your reports that will show you this is all the response from your customers. So this is all in text data type. So a lot of this thing is actually in numbers. So let's convert this into different type. And then there's like a couple of them are free text comment, as you can see, but the rest of them are rating questions so that you can change the type into the whole number. Okay, and then the dot, the moving yellow dot appear again. Shannon's favorite entertainment. Okay.
I made up a song for it and everything. That's not a
Oh
joke.
yeah. Be careful. Next time we have it, I might ask you to sing it. Okay, so let's go to, so we're done with the question response. That's, we need to filter, and then after we filter, then we pivot it so that it goes into each question appear as a different columns. Let's also do transformation on the survey response. So when the question response store individual answer for each of the questions in your survey, the survey response store the value at the survey level, including satisfaction metrics. So what you do is that let's do filtering as well to the question response. So let's go to the merge as queries. Actually, I want to merge as new so that I can keep the original table as is. Then I'm joining it with the survey, with the survey ID. Go to survey ID, inner join. And then I name this customer voice survey response. So I join it with the survey table, and then at the end, let me expand this, bring the survey name as well as the project associated with the survey. And then let's do another merge queries. This time I join it with, similar to before, I join it with the project. And then I join this project with the project ID.
So for those of you that are maybe newer to using Power BI, Welly is giving us a good example of just the different kinds of transformations that you can do in here to make the data useful for reporting.
So I expand the field so that when you join to the project, then you can expand, you can bring the field that you want. So and similar to what we did before, the main purpose of this is so that I can filter to only include the results from the bank satisfaction project. Then I filter the data. So this is all contains rows of records from the bank satisfaction project. Then I go to this choose column because this has a lot of other stuff that you don't need to keep things simple. Then let's remove all of these columns. You want to keep the activity ID. Activity ID is the identifier of each of the responses. So you want to include that. You want to include the satisfaction metrics values. And then you also want to include the submit date. So this is when the date where the response is submitted by your customers. And then that's it. So this satisfaction metrics, because of each of the survey, as you recall, can contain multiple KPI. So we store them in one column, satisfaction metrics value, as a JSON format. Now, in order for you to break it into the different KPI, then you can use this function, the parse function that comes with the Power BI. Then you can select the column, the satisfaction metric value, go to parse and select JSON. And then you can expand this. So for each of the values that is in JSON format, you want to actually break it into different rows. So choose expand to new rows. And then for this, then you only need the ID. Come on, Power BI, you can do it. So this JSON has three things: the ID, the type, and the value. We don't need the type right now, so let's just bring in the ID and values. So essentially, each of these satisfaction metric, this is the ID of the satisfaction metric, and this is the value. This is the NPS, as you familiar with it, that essentially will give you a certain score, and it is certain course, it is a promoter or the detractor. So you can so this is the ID, and this is the value. Now so this will similarly like this like question responses make it a little bit difficult to do reporting. So we also want to do our favorite object functionality, which is a pivot columns. Again, select the IDs so that you want to break it into the columns. Choose pivot columns. And then the value here is stored in this satisfaction matrix values. And choose do not aggregate so that you can get the actual values and do this OK. And then after I do those transformation, then it will convert these different rows into different columns so that you can have that for each of the responses. This is the date it was received. For this particular satisfaction metric ID, this is the values. Now, what is this idea? And this is a bunch of GUID. So if you go to this satisfaction metrics table, then you can see that this is the name, and there is also IDs, the satisfaction metrics ID. So what you let's say that you look for this home loan journey NPS, and you get this satisfaction metric ID. So I already did this ahead of time so that I get that this is the home loan. For example, this is the GUID, the satisfaction metric ID associated with this home loan. So if let me expand this, go back again. So if I go back to the survey responses, I can rename this. So the first one is 427. This one is a 427. Let me rename this. This is the metrics for NPS all. For B4B, this is metrics related to brands NPS. And then the last one is 27. This is related to the home loan NPS. So for each of the survey response, this is the KPI for NPS, overall NPS satisfaction metric. This is the value. This is the promoter. It's a promoter for brands, and then promoter for the home loan. Okay, we are almost done. One more step. So I mentioned earlier that the survey data is joined to the CRM data in CDS in context through a table called activity party. So the activity party not just connect the survey to the context. This is the intersection table that store every kind of activities related to the context. If you send an email, if you create a task, if you attach the documents, it will create an entry in the activity party. And there are different types of activities. Even for the survey, there is two activity that get created, an owner and then the submitter. To avoid the duplicate, so we need to filter so that we only want to have this relationship between the contact and the sender of the survey. So filter this participant type mass equal to 1, which is equivalent to all senders. That's it. So we we built the some queries, filtering on the question response based on that project, do pivot, same thing with the survey response, filter to the project, and then do the pivot based on the satisfaction metrics values, and do filtering on activity party, and then we can close and apply all the changes. We are almost there. There's one more step because before we could do the fun part, which is like painting this canvas.
Well,
Any questions?
This is just so neat. I've not seen the back end of CDS before, so it's really nice to see how you can work with all the entities. So thank you for showing this to us.
No problem. I think this is something that a lot of our customers, although using CDS, sometimes they do not go into that deep yet. So hopefully this will give you some context to be able to do fun stuff with the CDS data.
Thank you. And there is one additional question in the chat. Jenna, hi Jenna, good to see you. Jenna
Hi.
wanted to, oh hey, do you want to ask your question?
Sure. It's just more around permissions. I was curious. Does everybody in an environment have access to all survey projects created in that environment, or do you only have access to the projects you've created?
You only have access to the survey you created. So
Okay.
That's actually an excellent question. In order for you to be able to pull a survey from everyone, then you will need to to be like to have the what's called like organization level scope access to that entities. When the surveys get created, the survey records in CDS will have the owner of that survey owners. So you can only access the records that you own. Unless if you go to the CDS and you maybe create a different role that will expand your access, then only then that you can access somebody else's survey.
Perfect. Thank you.
Welcome. Okay, so I apply all those changes in the data transformation, and you can see on the fields you have this customer voice question response and customer voice survey response as additional table on the list of fields. But before we continue, I want to fix some of the relationship in those entities. So I have this, this is the one that we just created, customer voice survey response. This is the customer voice question response. And then we also have this activity party that is that I mentioned. So let's bring that here. And then I want to bring also the context entity. So we have contact entity as well as the branch entity. And then branch entity, let's bring them all closer together. And then I need one more entity, which is the branch area. It's the branch area. So we have this 6 entity that we are going to use for our dashboard. Let's remove the relationship with other entities that we don't need so that it doesn't create conflict. Now let's make sure that these all 6 tables get connected one another. So you have this branch area that is joined to this area ID in the branch table. And then for contact, the contact is connected. So this activity party, at high level, it has activity and it has party. So you have this party ID that is connected to the contact ID in the contacts entity in CDS. This is a very long entities. Let me see, contact ID, where are you? Contact ID, okay. And then joined it to the party ID. So activity party, the party connected to the contact, the activity connected to the activity ID in the survey response. And that activity ID is related to, let me expand this, scroll down, survey response ID. Survey response ID the same as activity ID. So I connect them. Now all these 6 tables are connected. We are almost home free. There's one more step, which is creating measures. So in the survey, you have this NPS. So this is a standard measurement in terms of doing the NPS questions. So essentially, if you answer 9 or 10 as a promoter, and then 7 and 8 is neutral, and then 0 to 6 are detractor. So score is calculated as percent of those customers that answer either 9 or 10 or promoter minus percent of your customers who are answering as the detractor, 0 to 6. Now, in order to calculate those NPS score, then you need to use a DAX function to create the measures. So for this, then if you go to the GitHub project, then I have this DAX function. So like for overall NPS. So if I go to the survey response, I can create a new measures. And make sure that if you are renaming your own table, so just make sure that this also be renamed according to your table. So I named this customer voice survey response. So this needs to be consistent. And then similarly that the satisfaction metrics, I renamed the columns, those GUID, I rename into like this NPS or NPS brands and home loan. So that makes sure that this is also consistent with the name of your field. So once you do that, click OK. So I create a measure for each of these NPS. So I go back in. This is the brand's NPS. Create new measures. And then the last one is the home loan NPS. And just, I'm sorry, I should have done this, but essentially in the DAX, I calculate the total number of responses from this table, and then I calculate how many are promoters by filtering those that answer that has the satisfaction metric value of promoter, and then how many are detractor, and then simply just the calculating the percent of promoter versus detractors. So that's it. We have everything we need in order to start creating the dashboard. So this placeholder dashboard have already some control. This is the standard cart control that I place it on this specific location so that you can go to this control, and then this is where you want to show the overall NPS. Go to the next one, which is branch level NPS. And then this is the home loan NPS. And then for this is the region, so that you can go to the branch area. Let's look for the name. This is the name, and maybe let's rename this to be branch. Or let's say like let's call it like a region. And then let's drop the region is the rows. And then let's start dropping the overall NPS as the values. Brand service as a value as well. And home loan. And this is already summarizing the NPS for each of the region. Do similar thing on the brands. Go to the name. Let's rename these brands.
And while you're working, Welly, I just want to jump in. And first of all, this is remarkable. But second of all, like, you are not just coming to talk to us about what this is. You have completely built this whole thing out for us. This is just amazing. I know everybody else is on mute, so you can't hear the oohs and ahs, but this is really awesome.
Thank you. It's almost done. So maybe hold the applause until the end.
No, well, we can applaud along the way. Keep going.
Okay, sounds good. So if you go to this question response, and I have a bunch of these fields that is correspond to this. So a lot of the customers then they want to know like not only what's the overall NPS, but they also want to look at or bring up some of the specific answer in the survey. So like easy to bang with, for example. So what you can do is that you can then bring this up because this is already converted into number. And then I'm using the KPI control on this visualization so that I can drop this component, and then there is the submit date field that included as part of survey response, and then you can get the trend line for this. So if you go to the rates and fees, similar thing, go to submit date, go to range online services, submit date. And then lastly, you want to get the actual detail of the survey questions so that you can first bring maybe the survey name as part of this, and then maybe the dates of when is the survey submitted. If you don't want the quarters, remove the quarters, and then you can start bring in all the fields that you need. So let's say like easy to bang with, rates and fee, range online services, availability of the online, keeping up to date, and then maybe also bring these free text questions as part of this. So this the free text question is part of this. Now that we pretty much done, because then what you can do is that you want to know what happened to California, you can filter based on California. It show the brands for the California, it show the key driver, it show the overall NPS for the California, and you can see this is filter the actual survey responses. One more thing that I want to show you, the whole benefit of you connecting directly to CDS and get the Power BI is that then you get not only being able to customize the way that you want the data to be represented in your custom dashboard, but the benefit is that let's say that you have customers that will give you, let me see, this is, I think, give me 1 second, which customers I'm looking at here. This is Diego. Let's go back to my CDS. So I send survey to Diego. Diego is part of San Francisco. So let's take a look at what the San Francisco number is doing. So San Francisco, you see that it's not doing too bad. You get like plus 16, plus 20, and plus 20. So let's actually go to Diego's. I'm on Diego mailbox. So I get this survey. So let's say that I want to fill in this survey, this home loan survey. And then let's say that I am really upset. Like I I really don't like about what this bank is doing. I put in the all 0. This is like a very rude employees. If I go back to this, I simply need to refresh. Note that for San Francisco, the number is not too bad right now. It's 16, 20, and 20. And then someone just submitted a new survey response. And then depending on the frequency of the Power BI, you can set it to be refreshed maybe daily, maybe several times a day. As soon as that refresh, then all this data will be automatically refreshed in your Power BI. You don't need to wait until you need to export the data, import it again. So it is depending on just the refresh frequency.
I have a different song for that spinning wheel.
All right. So you can see that now it changed into like 11, 15, and 15. And then if you filter on the San Francisco right now, then this is the latest one on October 27, and then it says that root employees. So all these survey that you just submitted will be automatically reflected in your Power BI. Questions about the Power BI creation?
Are there any questions, guys? I don't see any in the chat, Welly, but you guys feel free to take yourselves off mute.
Yeah, just to comment, this is really, really awesome. Wow, Welly, I'm very impressed.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Okay, so let me just close with a few things and then we can open up with more questions. So the whole idea about the customer voice is to help you to be able to create a survey easily, connect the data into the backend data, which is the CDS. And I didn't mention it, but if you set these satisfaction metrics in your customer voice, there are different types of the satisfaction metrics. And one of the satisfaction metrics is the sentiment. So this sentiment is something that you can map to text questions. And you can bring it up whether or not the text questions is a positive or negative. So that is, we are using the Azure Cognitive Service to detect that comments, whether or not what is the sentiment value of that comments. And we're going to invest more in terms of bringing more AI-based analytics on the text comments coming up as part of the customer voice. And then we have this automation that with the Power Automate, I show earlier the template that we ship that you can automate sending a survey. You can also create Power Automate to automate the follow-up actions. So when the response comes in, you can evaluate what is the satisfaction metrics value, whether or not this is a detractor, and then you can then send maybe some email or look up who is the employee that is responsible for this particular customers, notify this employee so that that employee can then reach out to the customers to find out more about why they are unhappy, for example. And then as we discussed in the last 45 minutes or so, how you can then use Power BI to then build the dashboard to monitor your customer satisfaction metrics. So all the example is around the collecting feedback from the customers, but it's not exclusively about the customer feedback. You can also do similar thing with employee. Of course, that will probably need to join with different entities for employees. Right now we are shipping the templates for customer scenarios. We are going to build the out-of-box template for employee feedback scenarios, and then later on we're also going to ship some templates around the product feedback. And the some product information if you want to learn more about customer voice. For those of you who has Dynamics 365, you have some license already included as part of your subscription. So make sure that you get the most out of it. If you don't have Dynamics 365, you can buy the license. It is based on the number of responses. So it's 2,000 response per month at $100 per month. We are monitoring not at the monthly capacity, but at the yearly capacity, so that if you want to send like an annual employee feedback, for example, you can, it's not the 2,000 per month that you need to worry, it's a 2,000 times 12, which is a yearly capacities, which is 24,000. So you can use up all those 24,000 at once, and you don't need you don't send another survey until next year. So that's also possible. So we give you some flexibilities. The technical documentation I mentioned earlier, you can go to ak.ms customer voice DOC. There's a demo videos about the capability of customer voice. There's a customer showcase video as well. And we also have learning at the Microsoft Learning. So there's some learning curriculums. Let me open it up so that you can, there are several modules, how to create the survey project, create the survey, send a survey, using the Power Automates. Each of these is, there's a different, each of these courses has different modules, and including also some exercise, and then some knowledge checks at the end. And then we also have pretty active communities, so you can, if you have any questions, you can also post to the communities.
You can't hear us, but everybody is clapping.
Thank you.
This was really, really incredible. There was one question in the chat that I think is worth us all discussing. And then if anyone has any other questions, please feel free to jump in. Najla, I hope, Nyla, I'm butchering your name either way. Do you want to come off mute and talk about your question?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, can you please tell me how to pronounce your name?
Najla.
Najla, okay, thank you so much. Go right ahead.
I was just wondering if how our end users who don't have access to Power BI, how they can access the dashboards and reports that we're creating. We saw how we can access it through the desktop, but not for the end users, if it's possible, because we'll be building this for our users who won't be using Power BI to access the data.
Okay, so I'm not the expert on the Power BI license, but I think that to create the dashboard, you need to have the Power BI Pro license to create the dashboard. But maybe other folks on the call that you can help me with the licensing questions for the end users. Do you need a separate license?
Yes.
Yeah.
Rocio, go ahead.
No, it wasn't me. I think
you
you can answer. It was
It
somebody
was
else.
Michelle. Yeah. So typically you need the Power BI Pro desktop license to be able to create the dashboard.
The
And for
key
the
is
viewer.
sharing.
For the viewer, there's two options. So you can have a Power BI desktop license, obviously, for your viewer. You pay for the license per annum. Now, license fees I wouldn't know about. And then there's also the option of Power BI Premium. So your company could have a premium license where you pay by viewer. So you'd have a number of people who would create the dashboard on Power BI desktop, and they would publish the dashboard to what's called a premium site, and then that's paid by viewer. So that can work out a bit cheaper, depending on the number of people that you need to be able to see the report. Limited knowledge, but that's the way we have it here at the moment.
Okay, thank you. That's helpful.
Thanks, Michelle. That was a great explanation.
Someone has a questions?
Hello?
Hi there, we can hear you now.
Yeah. Is it in relation to the last question, is there any possibility of embedding the results in like some kind of a web?
Yeah. Yes. So Power BI Embedded is its own licensing SKU. So Power BI licensing gets very complicated very fast, but you can embed the Power BI reports in your own website that is either, like on an intranet or something that's password protected. Power BI Embedded licensing starts at $750 per month. And there's no limit to the number of users who can view it, but where the pricing comes in there is it's charged per page render. So you know how each visual has a little circle that spins on it as it's rendering?
Yeah.
If you have a report that has a bunch of different visuals on it and you've got a lot of people hitting that website, it's going to get expensive fast because the back end of that is Azure and it's pay per use essentially.
Okay, so a lot of users could look at the data, but you would be paying a lot to let them do so, right?
Potentially.
Yeah.
Licensing, you really oftentimes you have to kind of weigh the pros and cons. And what I like to think about is the number of users that you're going to have. And I split that into two. I think of the number of people that will be building the reports and then the number of people that will be consuming reports. And then I also think about, what kind of Office 365 license is your organization on? Because if you have E5 licenses, Power BI is included in that, so people can see the reports without a charge. Maybe at some point we should do a little licensing rundown for this group. That might be helpful. And I know way more than I ever wanted to know about licensing, so I'd be happy to give that. And if anybody wants to collaborate on that with me, give me a holler and we can do like a 30-minute licensing rundown.
Yep. I mean, that would be good because I'm not in Microsoft ecosystem right now. I'm just, it would be good information for some of us who are kind of coming in to understand how the licensing works.
Yeah, and what's interesting, and Jamie can probably comment here as well, the licensing for each of the Power Platform products is slightly different, and it's always changing. And the reason it's always changing, I think, and I don't work for Microsoft, I'm a consumer, but I think the reason it's always changing is because they're responding to us and they're making it better in a lot of cases. So it is frequently changing, but it is different for all the products. Jamie, do you have anything you want to add to that?
Just to add on to that, it can also vary by organizations based on your size and your current deal with Microsoft. So I don't know if you're in IT or not, but like if you're not in IT, then you really should go through your IT department to talk about this and let them deal with Microsoft. But if you are the IT person and you're interfacing with Microsoft or you plan to be interfacing with Microsoft, then having a conversation with Microsoft about licensing is really where you'll find out the actual cost for you. Because again, the numbers you'll find on the web are like sticker prices, and they're not necessarily the actual cost that you'll be paying once you actually get the bill from Microsoft.
All right. Sure. No, that's good.
The bigger your org, the more negotiating power you have. I'll say that.
Yeah.
And I think we could potentially even make this bigger, guys. If people want to, we could do a Power Platform licensing session. That would be much more of a draw than just Power BI licensing. So thanks for that question. Anyone else have questions for Welly? Okay, so I think what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording. And as usual, I will stay on the line if anybody has specific